person, eminent environmentologist and ecologist, Dr. Yellappa Reddy. Dr. A.N. Yellappa Reddy, an IFS, retired IFS officer, is currently the head of Bangalore Environment Trust. He is a young and energetic person. Don't go by his appearance. He has spent a lifetime working for the environment, ecology. His experience in Bangalore in order to protect our ecology goes way back 70 years. He is always ready to fight, be it with the government or anybody else, to protect our environment and our ecological place, ecologically important places. I think I don't want to stand too long between you and Dr. Reddy. Let me open the program for Dr. Reddy's speech. Dr. Reddy, it is all yours. We are all ears to hear you.
About 30-35 minutes?
Yes.
The time given to me is about 30-35 minutes?
That's correct, Dr. Reddy. And after that, there will be a question and answer session for about 15-20 minutes.
Fine.
Thank you. Thank you for coming, taking our invitation. Thank you very much.
Namaste. Friends, I deem it a great honor to participate in this very important event. In the presence of galaxy of the citizens of Bangalore. The topic suggested by the organizers is about Ecocare. Why we have to care for the ecology? We need to care because there are no substitutes for ecological services. 90% of whatever we eat, whatever we breathe, whatever we drink is coming from nature. So, but the amount of attention we have given to this, to protect the nature, Mother Nature, appears to be grossly inadequate right from 14th, 15th century. The ecological services like absorbing carbon dioxide and supplying the flame of the life, that is oxygen, then to supply the water, purify the water, to regulate climate and carbon dioxide cycle, nitrogen cycle, etc. So we need to recognize the beautiful planet evolved to take care of life and life forms. Even say about nearly about 2.5 billion years ago. So now the point which we are discussing, or the issue which we are discussing, how to use with a purpose, we need to learn from plants, trees, and shrubs. Every plant, every tree lives with a purpose. That purpose is visible to us. But we need to find ways and means to carry on from the sense of self to our surroundings. Then the purpose, like trees, plants, who consciously performs or offers invaluable services with their limits of neuron intelligent quotient. We think that they don't have intelligent quotient, but with the limited intelligent quotient, they offer all the services. Unlike us, plants are capable of recovering from all kinds of distresses, then they will help to caretakers who possess the abilities to recognize the signs and symptoms of distress. That means if they possess a very unique quality, even if we are suffering from any what you call stress or distress, they can understand, but they release a variety of chemicals, including rich oxygen, and also the chemicals called the serotonin that helps us to relax and feel happy. So that only plants can release that, especially some plants which have got a great ability. For instance, Bodhi tree, that is Ficus bengalensis, or what we call it, the Vatoruksha or Audambra, or like that. I can list out about more than 100 to 150 plants like Rudraksha, Saraka indica. All these plants have got a great ability to release not only the rich carbon, oxygen rich breathable air, and also chemicals called serotonin. So out of 280 or so planets, life and life forms are found only in this planet. Out of 280 planets which have been identified by the astrophysicists, only this planet have got life forms. Or what is required now? A site-specific, region-specific plant compositions or plant kingdom compositions will uh, uh, harmonize the hottest hottest world through an organic evolution. Hottest world, it has been transformed into a breathable world, and also it is transformed to organize the water cycle, carbon dioxide cycle, nitrogen cycle, etc. So we need to understand through conscious or subconscious the imminent need of this century. What is required now? At least after COVID 2019, we have understood our limitations. Whatever the technology we have advanced, whatever the technology developed by man, with all his what do you call ability and intelligence, but still the smallest creature, a virus, can dictate the whole world. So we need to form some sort of a global mental map, some sort of a global mental map, because the virus can spread very rapidly, maybe much faster than even our planes or any other modern vehicles. So they will the spread of the COVID within a span of about 17 days or 20 days all over the world has made we are aware that that sort of a pandemic diseases will take us for a ride. So in the month of April 29th of 2022, April 29th of April 2022, Justice Srimati of Madras High Court given a clarion call. She has given a wonderful judgment, a clarion call, declaring Mother Nature is a living being having the status of a legal person with all corresponding rights and duties, liabilities of a living person. That means she has given a very subtle definition. Mother Earth is a living entity. So our act of egoism and anthropocentric or man-centric growth, the greed, violence, to go off on a reckless way with cancer, as started by as stated by Stephen Hawking, and heading for a sixth extinction. Stephen Hawking has stated that we don't respect the living Mother Earth or Mother Nature. We are heading for sixth extinction. Yes, stated is one of the globally well-known scientists. So, global environmental index, latest index, ranked our country as the last out of 180 countries. We have occupied a position of 180th position. Even Bangladesh and even the African countries are ahead of us. So what it shows, what it clearly indicates, we need environmental health, ecosystem vitality, policy for climate change and mitigation of the adaptation for climate change. All these things we need some sort of a policy. This policy is not forthcoming from our government and also in most of the governments. We need a policy. We need a water use policy. We need the water use policy. We need climate change policy. All these things are yet to find a place in our development programs. So the adaptation of for climate change at micro level, that is at habitat level, that is in our own apartment level, is required. That is the micro level and macro level, and at the city level, and at the state level, like that. So that's sort of a habitat level. Now we are devoting some time about what type of precautions to be taken in and around the apartments or in our own surroundings. So we need to understand there is a subtle link between the terrestrial ecosystem, that means the land mass, then riverine ecosystem, the water, then the marine ecosystem, the marine. There is a subtle interconnections, and they interdepend on getting the nutrient and oxygen and the life forms solely depend on this type of umbilical connections. These umbilical connections of the terrestrial ecosystem, riverine ecosystem, and the marine ecosystem is to be understood. It has been already documented by quite a number of ecologists all over the world, and they have clearly warned the global leaders about how this is being polluted, and they've assessed the quantity of the non-degradable chemicals found in the marine, the number of cigarette butts in the marine ecosystem. 19 lakh tons of cigarette butts are there in the marine ecosystem, and our water bodies, including Ganga, is being polluted with all kinds of deadly hazardous chemicals. So what is required now? We need to understand, even at a small scale, we have to take care of the health of the Mother Earth. So in my presentation, I would like to briefly highlight importance of the trees, plants, herbs, and fortunately, India is very rich in plant biodiversity, animal biodiversity, and each region has got its own composition of the fauna and the flora. So desert has got its own, and evergreen forest has got its, Himalaya has got its own, and semi-arid and arid zone. Though it is arid and semi-arid area, receives less rainfall with more of a sun blast more than about 200 days, but it has got a very unique ecosystems. So this biodiversity plays a very important role that has to be recognized. So the another very important thing which what we need to understand, the invisible world, microorganisms, that is fungus, lichens, and they play a very important role. Though they are not visible under the you know, ground up to about 20, 30 feet, we can see a very unique world of the masses, fungus, lichens, and the microorganisms, earthworms. So like that, they play a very important role to supply not only the nutrients, the moisture through xylem bundles, and also they will release variety of antibiotics through the uh, fungus to take care of the health of the plant community. If there is an injury, instantly the antibiotic will be generated by the consortium of fungus, consortium of the lichens, and they will immediately supply the required uh, chemicals. So in nature, Mother Nature is a massive pharmaceutical factory because they have to take care of the birds, they have to take care of the animals, they have to take care of everybody, and through the plants. So animals also or the birds will eat. They don't have doctors, they don't have hospitals, but they will take care. Uh, their health is taken care. Their food security is taken care by Mother Earth. Their water security is taken care by the Mother Earth. That's why Justice Srimati has given a beautiful definition and also informed concerned state governments to take care of the Mother Earth by giving all the what you call right to life, whatever human beings enjoys, is similar uh, rights should be recognized. So, what is required? The plant community plays a very important role in providing healing, so providing food, etc. All of you are aware of that. So it is extremely crucial to mitigate microclimate within and its surroundings. So in Bangalore, now we can find hundreds and hundreds of heat islands, heat waves, and the floods, and all kinds of man-made problems we are suffering. So the whenever you think of a apartment or a layout, we need to plan for a planting scheme. We need to plan for a planting scheme, and the scheme should create something which totally exists in its own right. Totally exists in its own right. Every Mother Earth creates something, life forms in your own habitat to take care of the supplying the oxygen, supplying the serotonin, supplying so many other chemicals in the breathable air. So that is equally important in a concrete building or a road or the car park. All other facilities do require too. At the same time, this is a thing which is not available in any mall or a market or in any other means. So nature alone can provide that. So in these planting schemes, the climbers and the creepers and set of shrubs and herbs will have a very unique role in catering uh, all the needs are in and providing all the ecological services. So we should start from a layout or apartment level, which the plant community signs with one another and opens the windows of empathetic communication with life and life forms. So this community will open a window and traps all the suspended particulate matter, respiratory particulate matters, and the carbon dioxide, and whatever we breathe out, and whatever we have to inhale, it should be a breathable quality air. So this type of a composition in any human habitat, as Rabindranath Tagore was the person started Shantini Ketan in Calcutta, where first he was concentrated on developing the beautiful greenscape to attract the indigenous and even migratory birds, migratory animals also, and provide an habitat for them. They come and do a service. What type of service? Pollination, seed dispersal. So all these things, one of our great Nobel laureate, Rabindranath Tagore, as the first person. So when he was addressing the citizens of London, he said that your civilization started from cities and towns. Our civilization in India started from Aranya, from the forest. So he was living with his uncle in Uttar Kannada district on the banks of the Kali River, and he has imbibed the beauty of the Kali River, which takes meanders after meanders after meanders, and then joins the ocean. So then he was inspired, and also our great poet Kuvempu also lived in Malnad area, and has written so much about the wonders of the nature. So nature is the most wonderful thing which can heal most of our depression, stresses, etc. It is extremely crucial to mitigate microclimate within and its surroundings, and which will provide winged plants by planting appropriate species.
Hello.
Hello. Winged means it is not only the birds and butterflies, moths, and even ants. All of them play a very crucial role in maintaining the ecosystem health. Ecosystem health is maintained by a set of scavengers which are not visible. So even including the cockroaches, what we kill, also will come and eat away the micro uh, and it cleans our sewage, what do you call, sewage system, and eats all organic matter, and they convert as a food. So even all these animals, what we are killing, what we are poisoning, also plays a very important role. Now, because of the scientific, man-centric development, we are indiscriminately using pesticides, fungicides, herbicides, right from Michael Garrison. She warned the world, don't kill all the living organisms or whatever they are. They have got a purpose and they will play a very important role. But still, in the human need and greed of poisoning the whole earth, and we are eating, we do not know what we are eating and what type of used to produce the food, and also what type of chemicals are getting into the water, what type of chemicals are getting into the visible air. All these things is very well known. So that is called what is required ecophysiology. You should understand Ecophysiology means whatever we are dumping into the ecosystem, the ecosystem are unable to digest or convert into a safe text. So there are non-degradable things are getting into the ecosystems, both in water and also in air and in the food chain also. So many of us know the facts, the plants essential roles, and they release human sustaining flame of the life, oxygen, as I told you, and the breathable air. Not only just the air, it also enriches the breathable air with fragrance and aroma. This fragrance and the aroma are capable of killing miasma in the breathable air. Miasma means that is the bacteria, the virus, and all other things. And also they've got a great ability to trap the respiratory particulate matter, uh, solid suspended particulate matter with the help of the and their architecture. The leaf, when wind blows, it uh, turns, and the dorsal side will have a velvety hairs, and they will trap suspended particulate matter of 2.5 micron or 10 micron also. So that will improve. But when there is no vegetation, when there are no uh, trees which can trap the suspended particulate matter, and also to reduce the noise pollution, and we are exposed for this type of threats. That is, noise pollution is a silent killer. Then our lungs, you know that the how much of during COVID time about the oxygen deficiency, the particulate matter is playing havoc with our lungs. Today in Bangalore city, more than 50 to 60% of the children are suffering from all kinds of respiratory problems. So children, especially in soft targets, are when they breathe the polluted breathable air, their lungs and their problems are increasing. The last 30, 40 years, the Bangalore environment study by very famous doctor, Dr. Parmeshwar, and submitted several international articles about how the Bangalore air is being polluted and create a lot of problems to our lungs. And the, only the biomes or plant kingdom can capable of reducing, and they are capable of adapting to the even during the non-rainy days. They will develop a root system, and they manage in such a way by shedding their leaves, shedding their twigs. They regulate the water, and they've got a the DNA to understand what is happening in the external world, what is happening during the daytime, what is happening in the night time. So they adopt and regulate and cater the basic need quality air, quality water, and quality fruits, quality food. All these things, the knowledge and engagement take us to a cosmic world. If we have a different this understanding, we can understand and we can get into a cosmic world. Cosmic world means the trees and the plant kingdom, the animals, they play their limited role in a very significant way. But whereas the man, with his all his intelligence, with all these things, failed to understand the functions of the cosmic world. So the cosmic world, moonlight, sunlight, in the diurnal variation of temperatures, and these things are very, very important. What is required now? We need to improve our IQ. We need to understand emotional quotient and spiritual quotient. That's the reason why our ancestors used to worship trees, worship water, worship even stones. But where today we are blasting hills after hills and then converting that into M sand and to the what you call quarrying, building constructions, and the mountains and the forest is the mother of rivers. So our ancestors have taken care by building some sort of a temples in every mountain. In Bangalore itself, Bangalore and the Ramanagara roundabout, in many hill stations, you can find at the top of a hill a temple. The purpose of building a temple on the top of a hill, we should walk through the Mother Earth to the Manadurge and understand the cosmic world, and then take care of the cosmic world, which is taking care of us. Now, I will go to the next subject with this brief introduction about the very eminent personalities like Arvind Ghos's mother. Arvind Ghos's mother, I given a spiritual definition. For example, for Michaelia Champaka, Sampige, they were given a spiritual definition that is divine smile. We can behold the divine smile when we have conquered our ego. Once if you conquer your ego, you'll get a divine smile. So that definition is given by Aurobindo to Michaelia Champaka flower. Michaelia Champaka flower, divine smile. We can behold the divine smile when we conquer our ego. Then pride of India, very common tree in Bangalore. Today it is in bloom. And for last 1.5 months, you can see the pride of India in many places all over Bangalore city. Beautiful flowers, that is called pride of India, and a very common tree which is in flower in Bangalore. And the spiritual definition is intimacy with the divine. So the spiritual definition given by Aurobindo and Mother, intimacy with the divine. Only a pure, calm, desireless, vital can hope to enter their marvelous state. So our body will vibrate only to the divine touch, will lead to intimacy with universal Mother Nature. So, for example, rose, very common rose, but the spiritual definition given by Aurobindo and Mother is like this: love for the divine and is a source that unites the manifestations to its creator. Love is a mighty vibration coming from the one and only, the very pure and very strong are capable of receiving manifesting divine love. So they have given such a excellent spiritual definition for very common like that. They have given a definition for more than 896 plants in their Pondicherry Institute, and also published beautiful books with colored photographs. You need to have intimacy like that with a small garden which you are creating in the midst of your apartment. So, added to that, if you have a set of trees all around, the Kadamba, like the Kadamba, and then Mellingtonia, and then the mahogany, these huge tall trees of 60, 70 feet tall, when wind blows, they can trap suspended particulate matter, respirate particulate matter, and mitigate the noise pollution to an extent of 30 to 40 decibels of the noise pollution can be mitigated. If you have a nice green belt around your apartment or around your surroundings, and you have to take care of your own avenue trees also. They will also play very important role in traffic matter and in mitigating the noise pollution, etc. And they will absorb carbon dioxide, as I explained. So the keen sense of what is going around them and the ability to respond, the the appropriately sensing the environment is crucial to inmates of the apartment, and that is going to help in a very big way. So majority of us have little understanding of their 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 exquisite abilities to anticipate and depend and adopt to constantly changing conditions. They've got extraordinary quality of understanding what is going on when the drought comes, when the cloudburst happens. Then, if there is adequate um, space for them to absorb that water and reduce flooding, because of the uh, impervious surface of the Mother Earth, there is no scope for the water to get into the plant root system, and we are suffering from regular floods in Bangalore and also all over Western Ghats. Western Ghats, we have destroyed billions of trees even today. From last 2-3 years, for your kind information, Karnataka government has given a clearance to fell trees in the Western Ghats uh, for to lay out for broad gauge railway lines, national highways, metro. Metro has consumed about more than 30 to 40,000 age-old trees of 300, 400. All are very sacred trees. So we are losing very rapidly the greenscape, and Bangalore, one of the most beautiful city of gardens, city of lakes, city with comfortable climate, is now is becoming a garbage city. And you know, Bellandur, there is a froth, there is a fire, and there is a foam, and there is a fire. So the water bodies also now are stinking with all kinds of chemicals. But till today, there is no clear agenda to prevent uh, all these problems. About 1.5 crore population of the Bangalore is suffering very silently. So now I would think I will stop here. I will try to answer your questions with this brief introduction of sharing my concern and whatever I know. I have, because all of you are very knowledgeable people. You know much more than myself, but still, you asked me to share my experience. And we in Bangalore city were the first in the country to bring a tree act in 1976, and Devarajas was the chief minister. In the whole of the world, Karnataka was the first state to bring Tree Preservation Act. Unfortunately, that is in 1976 after Stockholm Conference. Unfortunately, the present government, so about 2 months back, they have completely liberalized to cut even the heritage trees of 500-year-old, 600-year-old trees of Vatavuksha, Ala, Basri, very, very, what do you call it? We used to worship people tree. We used to worship Vatavuksha. So all such trees also is being mercilessly allowed to cut and to widen the roads. So from last 2-3 years itself, but more than 20,000 trees of heritage trees of 500 year old, they were permitted to fell. And we filed a writ petition, Bangalore Environment Trust, and we are fighting. The government very conveniently amended amends the laws and brings in through ordinance. And about the green belt in 1978, the Bangalore green belt, when Devaraj was the chief minister, we were the first to notify Bangalore green belt around the Bangalore to take care of the lakes, to take care of the water bodies, to take care of the water catchment, to maintain the greenscape all around. That has been denotified, and the government very liberally denotifies and allows them. And recently, last year, 1.5 years back, Banegata National Park is one of the very big national park in very close to Bangalore city. 120 square kilometers of the Banegata National Park has been denotified to accommodate the development, to accommodate the quarrying, to accommodate stone crushing, to accommodate the quarrying. So the quarry means when they blast hills after hills. So this is one of the very important water supply catchment area and a habitat for elephants. Today, man and animal conflict also is increasing very rapidly. Added to that, now they wanted to submerge about nearly 20,000 acres of the Kaveri sanctuary to supply water to Bangalore city. To supply water to the Bangalore city, they are not interested in developing recycling of the water. More than 60% or 70% of the water, the grey water can be converted into quality water for non-potable purposes. There's technologies available, but instead of that, by a project, they want to supply water. They already spent about nearly 13,000-14,000 crores, but there's no sign of getting the water because I know I was in that committee. In that committee, when I visited Pushpagiri, Sakaleshwara area, I told all the experts there's no chances of getting the quality of the water from Ethirone to the Bangalore or to Tumkur or whatever they have proposed. So the chances are very remote because pumping and also to be able to build an aqueduct. So all those things is, I think, still to come into operation. And even if it comes into operation, the rain, it entirely depends upon the monsoon rains. Monsoon rains are very erratic. Either there will be rain or there will be no rain. So we are experiencing regularly the drought and the floods and all kinds of other problems. I think I will stop here. Hello? Hello?
Thank you, Dr. Reddy.
Questions?
Kar, I believe you have raised your hand. Do you have any question? NC Kar? Anybody else has any question? Well, if there are any questions, please feel free to ask now.
I have one question, sir.
Please go ahead, Indra.
Indraji, what is your question?
My name is Indra, settled down, and the pigeon sheets are all around our apartment. It will affect the lungs functioning of our. It is a senior citizen house, actually apartment. How can we avoid it? You
should stop feeding them. So to do a great philanthropic way of getting straight away to the heaven, we are feeding them and we are making them lazy. They don't have a true system. That is, they will urinate and out of the feces will be produced only through one system. So they will, their droppings are very high particulate respiratory particulate matter. Once it dries, you breathe that. You are not only breathing that particulate matter, you are also breathing microorganisms. They will straight into your lungs. So you have to request the people who are feeding on the rooftops to stop that. Then automatically they will go in search of food in a natural. They will do the struggle and get good food, more healthy food than contaminated food like the filled with I have published 2-3 articles in Deccan Herald about Lal Bagh, in the Lal Bagh garden. They were feeding the pigeons. There were thousands of pigeons in Kabar Park and Lal Bagh they used to feed. I convinced the government and the authorities concerned to stop that. So kindly request to stop feeding.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
Achyuta Rao, you have a question?
Yeah, my question was the same thing. Even our apartment, a lot of pigeons are there. The droppings.
You request them to stop immediately, otherwise you are going to have a lot of lung problems. It is not only the very fine, but fines, dried, thick, and also they contain long pathogens. Once they get to the exposure to the air, they will encapsulate. If you breathe that, pathogens all gets into your lungs. Kindly request them in the interest of the health of children and everybody there. They should stop feeding and putting water on the rooftops.
Thanks a lot, sir.
Then automatically they will go in search of food elsewhere.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. We are doing the same thing, what you suggested since last month. Thank you.
Yeah, Dr. Reddy, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
In the beginning, you have talked about various kinds of trees which can help in getting the air which is much more conducive to the humans.
Yes.
Where can I get the list of such trees?
We have not only the thematic concepts of what do you call the Charakavana, Shushrutavana, and also the Panchavati, Panchavalkala. We have Bengaluru environmentalists can supply all these, not only the trees, saplings, climbers, and also the technology or the concepts. We are prepared to share with the members of your federation, and if they approach Mr. Ravindra, the Indus Earth and me, and we will certainly guide you and supply the seedlings. We have about a stock of more than 20-25 lakh seedlings. So I have planted Jnanabharati campus in 400 and 600 acres, all these trees and also the thematic gardens. And I created the Charakavana, Shushrutavana, then Panchavati, Panchavalkala, ritual gardens. But Ganapati needs 21 leaves, and Saraswati needs some set of plants. Then Satyanarayana, 24 flowers, 24 leaves we have to offer. So these flowers and leaves which our ancestors shortlisted contain organic compounds. When we inhale that, then that will help to improve our quality of the breathable air. So
we have to, for that, we have to contact, how do we contact Mr. Ravindra? Yeah.
Contact me, and I will give the number of Mr. Ravindra, and you can contact him also, and he will give you the required information, or he will mail the required information. Just a minute. 984. His number is 984.
Just hold on. Yeah.
516.
984.
516.
516
8734.
8734.
Under my guidance, and
He
he
is Mr. Ravindra.
is Mr. Ravindra Indus Arp.
The-
One of the associate working Bengal Environment Trust and helping us to raise seedlings procured from the Western Ghats, and we have got a stock of more than 10 lakhs well-grown seedlings of Rudraksha, Kadamba. So like that, I can list out more than nearly 300 to 400 species. But we are
And he can advise us also, because we don't have too much of land, but whatever land is available, these plants will suit us.
I myself will visit 1 or 2 apartments if need be, along with Ravindra. Then we will see the landscape in around that. Then we will suggest what type of compositions to be placed where.
Okay.
Friends, Ravindra's number is repeated here in the chat section. Please go ahead and take the number.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Doctor, there is another question from Aji Sukumar. Many of the apartment complexes come with ornamental trees that builders plant. Will it make sense for residents to replace these with native trees?
Definitely. Most of the ornamental plants are only exotics. And they do provide certain ecological services, but not the natives like Saraka indica, not like Champaka, not like Neem, not like Pangamia. So Pangamia and Neem are very important plants and trees. They will release chemicals that will kill miasma in the breathable air. So not only the ornamental, they look good, but they do offer ecological services, but not like there is no substitutes for neem. There are no substitutes for Pangamia. They flower, they bloom in a summer months when the virus is very active, and they will kill these viruses. And also I planted more than about 100 varieties of plumerias, the Devaganagiri in cover park. You can see them, they're in bloom now. So these plumeria leaves releases chemical which can kill the TB bacteria. That is, today bacteria, the TB bacteria has developed resistance for all kinds of antibiotics. That is multi-drug resistant TB and the total drug resistant TB. So the people were walking in and around Kaban Park or Lal Bagh. You cannot make out whether he is suffering from multi-drug or total drug-resistant TB. But if he sneezes, it will spread to more than 20 to 30 people in one shot. So we have planned in a very systematic way to create such green elements to take care of the deadly diseases like the tuberculosis. Today, more than 3 to 4 million people die out of tuberculosis because the tuberculosis superbug developed resistance for all kinds of antibiotics.
So these bacteria are addressed by plumeria leaves. Is that so, doctor?
Not leaf, flowers.
Flowers, the white flowers?
White, purple, all kinds of flowers, all kinds of colors.
Is it plumeria alba or plumeria pudica?
All of them.
Okay, all of them.
All of them.
The entire family of plumerias.
Yes, yes.
Thank
nearly
you.
400 varieties are there.
Yes, there are several varieties. Yes.
So I planted more than 100
Thank you.
secured from Pondicherry, and they are blooming now.
Okay.
Sir, can I ask you a question?
Yes, please.
Okay, my name is Dubey from Jayan Dubey from DSR Woodbinds. Actually, you just said that the native plants are generally more useful. So in case we want to replace some of our existing plants with the native plants which are more useful and have medicinal values. Do we have to take permission from the government for cutting the old ones?
Yeah, you please tell them, suggest to them.
Uh-huh.
Now we are planting Rudraksha.
Uh-huh.
We are planting Rudraksha, a tall plant, which will become a tree within about 5-6 years. And then the other trees, slowly we're replacing because the interest of taking care of the polluted air, what we breathe.
Correct.
So Rudraksha, Kadamba, like that, about nearly 20 to 30 different types of species, Bakula. They're all wonderful trees.
Okay.
Wonderful trees with fragrance. They will release an aroma. They will release chemicals. They're beautiful too. So you please suggest instead of Delonix, Mayflower, though it looks good, but it cannot produce these chemicals.
Hmm.
I have one question.
Yes,
Shall
sir.
I go ahead?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Dr. Reddy, I'm a great fan of yours. I had seen a lot of interviews of you over YouTube through Kala Madhyama.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
And yeah, myself, Arun, I am a resident of Orchidwoods apartment. So my
Yes.
question to you is this. See, I think the kind of environment we are in Bangalore, I think we all love Bangalore, and we definitely want this environment to survive for even our progenies.
Yes.
And in that regard, right, what else we can do? Like we are doing rainwater harvesting, STP, carpooling, we are using public transport, and a lot of things we do in like solar panel and all the things we are doing. What else we can take on an immediate effect to probably give some additional lungs to Bangalore environment?
Definitely. Definitely, but nearly Bangalore government land to an extent of 40 to 50,000 acres have been encroached. Encroached land, they are evicting. Out of the encroached land, at least about nearly 30 to 40% land should be earmarked to create the green landscape of a native trees. So you have to write to the government, tell them, good, you are evicting encroachments. So A.T. Ramaswamy committee informed the government 40,000 acres of the government land, including the lakes, have been encroached by the not ordinary people, very rich people. And the stormwater drains also now have been shrinking. So all along the stormwater drains, if you plant some sort of a good shade trees, then the quality of the water which is flowing in the stormwater drain will not have this foam, froth, and the fungus growth. So fungus growth is because of the organic matter. So there is ample scope for government instead of selling that land which have been evicted. They should earmark 30 to 40% to recreate green bank, to
Okay, so
recreate the garden city of the bank.
Is it possible, like apartment owners like us and all, to be participating in this as a public forum?
Yes,
So that
you have to. You see, the residential welfare committees should approach the chief minister, should approach the court, and convince the court with the public litigation petitions. What is happening? What type of heat waves is happening? What type of climate change is happening? What type of floods is happening in Bangalore? What is required in Bangalore? Under what authority you denotified the green belt notified by Devarajas, the great visionary? Under what authority you are now allowing to cut trees indiscriminately to widen roads and to promote communication of vehicles? So nearly 50 to 60% of the people are walk around. But what is the status of a footpath? Where is the shade trees? Very simple native trees. If you Jayanagar, if you happen to visit, we have created a beautiful avenue of native species, which are which can withstand the impact of weather, wind, and drought. So these things are very, very simple interventions. We are not, though the Paris Agreement, our Prime Minister has promised that by 2070, there will be zero carbon emission. How do you do that with these vehicles? How do you do that with this type of indiscriminate cutting of trees? So only the leaves have got the capacity to absorb carbon dioxide. No other machine can convert carbon dioxide into carbohydrates or a food or whatever we are eating, whatever the animals need, whatever the birds need. So it is very simple, but what is required is active citizen should have a charter, and you can approach. All of you are highly qualified, highly educated, and you can organize. What is required in the interest of your own children and your grandchildren? You have to fight and then recreate what Bangalore was. About Kempegowda was the great visionary who created lakes and the gardens and the Gundutopos and all kinds of things that made Bangalore is very unique in the world. Today, that uniqueness is being brutally destroyed.
Yeah, I can understand that.
We'll,
Thank you so much.
we'll take one last question. Arun Kumar, what's your question?
I had my question already raised, and I think Dr. Reddy has answered it.
Okay.
May I go, Arun here?
In NC are you here? Okay, somebody wanted to go ahead. Please,
Yeah.
let's take that as the last question.
Yeah,
Okay.
may I? This is Arun here.
Yes.
Sir, I live in a community called Mantri Greens, with the greens being underlined out there in central Bangalore. And we have some really old trees, etc. We would like to do an inventory of trees, and what is an ideal inventory of trees, if there is any format you have, so that, it can be an educational thing, for future generations also.
Very good.
And also make our children and young familiar with what are the varieties and what are the features of it and why it is important, etc. So if you can help with the format of inventory or a sample inventory, it will be useful.
Yeah, definitely. Karnataka High Court have given a direction to undertake a tree census in Bangalore city.
Right, census is the word, yeah.
Tree census in Bangalore city. The corporation and the forest department is yet to submit on my petition. Because the High Court ordered to undertake a tree census. They are now dabbling with that from last 3-4 years and submitting that report to the High Court. And now it is very easy. I can depute some people. They will come, or myself will come, and then we can do the census and the species composition. Whatever species, what is its girth, what is its canopy, when it flowers, when it fruits, when birds come in search of fruits. All those things can be documented there. Some sort of an ecological auditing can be conducted and inform the children and the inmates about what type of green assets they have around them. It is possible to read. I will help you also.
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
With that, I think we come to the close of the session. Thank you, Doctor. Thank you very much for elucidating and providing us very deep insights into the creation of an ecology, an acceptable ecology. You have also explained to us the need to conserve our mini and micro lives, and also need to ensure that the requisite oxygen is produced in great abundance. Thank you very much, Doctor.
Can I request you to share your recorded?
Yes, it will be shared with you. It will certainly be shared with you. And thank you also, gentlemen and friends from BAF, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for your attention, and thank you for very relevant points that you have brought out, relevant questions. Thank you.
Namaste.
Thank you, Doctor.
Namaste. రాస్తారు నిన్న మనం